here's an idea for all of you human resources folks out there, even the learning and development folks that are out there. And this is an idea that you should steal because I'm telling you, it works. My company has done this countless times for all different organizations and corporations. You don't need to use us to do it. You can just steal the concept and run with it. But I'm going to set it up by giving you kind of the situation or the issue. And this will touch a nerve for sure with a lot of you HR folks out there, especially when it comes to talent acquisition and hiring and recruiting and all that kind of stuff. So you know those times when you find a fantastic candidate, perfect candidate for your organization, and everything's going great, and your talent acquisition folks or your hiring manager, what have you, need to hand off that candidate to other people in the organization whose, let's say, primary role is not to interview candidates, right? Because these are the people, like the managers that the person is going to work on, the team that the person is going to work on and what have you. And a lot of times, that's where everything goes wrong. Because those people are not, it's not their job to interview every day. So they're not as, let's say, they're not as good at it as a typical, a hiring manager or a recruiter or what have you, somebody with that title would be. And they end up turning off clients because they do all different things that they might not be prepared. They might be using body language that's kind of off-putting. They might be talking about the company as if it's the end-all, be-all place to work and how the candidate would be lucky to work there, which kind of turns off a candidate where they look at it and go, I have a bunch of other places I can work. So they do these things that they don't even almost realize that they're doing. So here's the idea that you should steal. My company is a podcast production company. We primarily produce, I would say, I'll call them internal or private podcasts. So podcasts that are only released inside of organizations to employees, select teams, and then customers and other select audiences. We do some public ones, but we do primarily focus on those private ones. And we focus on a lot of learning and development and all those kind of skill building, all these kind of things. It's a great format to use to help employees kind of learn, and it's more engaging and it's more current and it's definitely more convenient than a lot of the things that are out there. One of the podcasts we do, this is the one you should steal, we call Hire Learning. So it's Hire Learning, and which is a great name. And that podcast is focused on that issue that I just went through. So each episode is focused on a different area. So preparation might be one episode. Another episode, what to do and what not to do, right? Things that work in interviews, things that make them fall apart. Even body language, all these different things. And of course, the cool thing about this podcast is the guests, whereas typically we might bring in outside guests and experts and thought leaders. In this case, you have them internally because it's your team, it's your hiring managers and recruiters and HR folks who no one knows better than you how to, the things that go wrong and where things fall apart and how to fix them. So those could be your episodes. Now, look, you might not want to use a podcast for this. I will tell you podcast is a great way to do it, but definitely steal the name Hire Learning. And it's just a great way to teach those people who are not responsible, whose day-to-day role is not to interview candidates, just to kind of open their eyes to the mistakes that they might be making that they might not even be aware of and help them fix those mistakes. And of course, just kind of boost that candidate experience overall. If you ever want to talk about it, brainstorm it, let me know. Just, send me a message and we could talk about it. But like I said, whether you do a podcast or not, that's one thing, but definitely steal the name because it's a great name and the approach works. I'm telling you, we've done it for a lot of companies and, it helps for sure.